What it do, everybody? It's your boy King Crowder back again with another edition of History You May Not Know and Things That Are Not Taught in Detail for Sure. Today's lesson will be focusing on the doctor that transformed the blood industry, that invented, cultivated, and made blood banks in this country. We're talking about the great Charles Richard Drew. Charles Richard Drew was born in 1904 of a Black American middle-class family in D.C. His father, Richard, was a carpet layer, and his mother was a trained teacher. At a young age, he was taught mostly at home. Richard grew up in a segregated city, which we all knew at the time how the country was in Jim Crow era. Richard grew up there with a strong relationship dynamic in his Black community. If you did not know, D.C. at this time was better known as Chocolate City. He went in there, was very much educated, decided to go to Amherst College in Massachusetts, where he was a star track and field gentleman. Graduated in 1962, where he decided to pursue medicine. He was a professor of chemistry and biology and an athletic director at Morgan State. Shout out to Morgan State College University. And later applied for the medical school at Howard. Most people do not realize that this Black American founded what we know as the medical industry. He was a surgeon and a medical researcher. He updated blood transfusion, developed a technique to store blood, keep it captivated at a certain level, and made the blood industry what it was today. Dr. Drew's idea came about because you got to understand when World War II was going on, y'all, was a lot of deaths around the world. It was a lot of need for soldiers to be rehabilitated, helped, and he needed to find a way to work with these proper injuries that was going on. Even though the medical industry was extremely segregated, Black doctors proceeded to add so much value to this field. Remember, scientific research was limited because there was nobody pushing these mandates. Dr. Drew, you could say, had a big, strong footing in the founding of the Red Cross. He allowed them to have blood be used for donations and being sent to soldiers who were fighting the war. You must understand that while he was going, and what made him such a big deal was that he began to get the proper funding from European countries to help them. The American Red Cross made sure that Dr. Drew's work was going in when he used blood mines. He also invented the way that you can donate the blood, refrigerate it, transport it, and also making it used for all Navy and Army veterans. You must understand at the time, it was so much segregation and racism in this country. Black American blood was denied from many white American soldiers. It became such a huge deal that Dr. Drew had to let them know, if you refuse to deny this blood, you will die. They had to tragically resist and say, hey, it's blood. We all believe the same. Dr. Drew was known to help many Black Americans with their plasma supply, help them grow themselves, and teach them how they were married. Dr. Drew's was so iconic that he revolutionized how the blood, how to check your blood work, and understanding how the things went on. Even though he was later in life, he began to have a strong family outset. He was married to his wife, who was a Spelman teacher and Spelman graduate. He had 3 daughters and a son. Dr. Drew was known later in life, post his medical career after the war, to accept the position and travel to Tuskegee. Many of our icons moved to the John A. Andrew Memorial Hospital. While at the Tuskegee Clinic, tragedy struck Dr. Drew. He began to get suffered and sick, and he died from a horrific vehicle injury. His life was cut short because his brake pedals was denied, and we know car accidents were tragic at this time. When the emergency team reached him, they were shocked that he was survived due to his leg injuries and taken to the north. But you got to understand, racial hospitals made him go all the way to the Black hospital instead of the one that was closer to him. The great Dr. Drew should be known, solidified, loved, and embraced, and how he changed many lives. Think about it. During his short tenure of 45 years old, he made sure blood clinics were established. He made sure Allied forces in the military were sufficiently taken care of. He made sure that he made a way for many Black Americans to get in and get the clinic. He also made it clear that plasma is different from traditional blood. He remembered to take in that it needed to be refrigerated. He made sure the specific blood types. He also mentioned that if you do not have certain blood types to match up, they will resist the blood that goes into it. Dr. Drew, an icon, a researcher, a medical professional, he highlighted how blood donation system works in this country. At the first year, it was 14,000. He tripled that number and made it more sufficient. Dr. Drew changed this country inside and out. Even though racism was at the height and many doctors were denied access in 1950 in Burlington, North Carolina, when he was laid to rest. Dr. Drew should be highlighted for what he did, what he added, and the value he added to this country. It's your boy checking out. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you learned about a doctor and how he revolutionized America and what we did. It's your boy King Crowder. Check him back out. Hopefully you learned something. Until next time. Peace.